By the early 20th century, Europe was a tinderbox of tensions. Nationalistic fervor, imperial ambitions, and a complex web of alliances created a volatile situation. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary on June 28, 1914, by a Serbian nationalist was the spark that ignited these tensions. Austria-Hungary, backed by Germany, issued an ultimatum to Serbia. Serbia's response was deemed unsatisfactory, leading Austria-Hungary to declare war on July 28, 1914. Within weeks, the alliance system pulled all the major European powers into the conflict. Russia mobilized to support Serbia, prompting Germany to declare war on Russia and its ally France. Germany's invasion of Belgium brought Britain into the war. By August 1914, Europe was at war. Germany's initial strategy, the Schlieffen Plan, aimed to quickly defeat France by sweeping through Belgium and then turning east to fight Russia. However, the German advance was halted at the Battle of the Marne in September 1914, leading to a stalemate and the establishment of trench warfare. In the east, Germany and Austria-Hungary faced Russia. Early battles such as Tannenberg were significant victories for Germany, but did not lead to a quick resolution. The Western Front became a line of entrenched positions stretching from the North Sea to Switzerland. Soldiers lived in harsh conditions, facing mud, rats, and the constant threat of enemy attack. The trenches were a world of their own, with a grim routine of waiting, fighting, and surviving. World War I saw the introduction of new and deadly technologies. Machine guns, poison gas tanks, and airplanes changed the nature of warfare, making it more lethal and impersonal. Artillery bombardments caused massive casualties and destruction. One of the longest and most brutal battles of the war, Verdun, was a symbol of French determination and German persistence. It lasted for most of 1916, with enormous casualties on both sides and little ground gained. Launched by the British and French to relieve pressure on Verdun, the Battle of the Somme is infamous for its staggering loss of life. On the first day alone, the British suffered around 60,000 casualties. The battle became a symbol of the futility and horror of trench warfare. In an attempt to open a new front and secure a sea route to Russia, the Allies launched an amphibious assault on the Gallipoli Peninsula in the Ottoman Empire. The campaign was a costly failure, with heavy casualties and no strategic gain. World War I was truly global. Soldiers from the British and French colonies in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific fought alongside European troops. The war also saw significant battles in the Middle East, Africa, and on the seas. Initially neutral, the United States entered the war in April 1917, following German unrestricted submarine warfare and the Zimmermann Telegram, which proposed a German-Mexican alliance against the US. American involvement provided a crucial boost to the Allied powers, both materially and morally. The war effort required total mobilization of societies. Economies were redirected to produce war materials, and women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers to replace men who had gone to fight. Rationing, propaganda, and war bonds became part of daily life. The strains of war led to civil unrest in many countries. In Russia, the war exacerbated existing discontent, leading to the Russian Revolution in 1917. The Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, seized power and eventually negotiated a separate peace with Germany in the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. In 1918, Germany launched a series of offensives on the Western Front, attempting to win the war before American forces could fully deploy. These offensives initially gained ground, but ultimately failed due to fierce Allied resistance and logistical issues. The Allies launched counter-offensives, known as the 100 Days Offensive, pushing the German forces back. With the Allies collapsing and morale at an all-time low, German leaders sought an armistice. The armistice was signed on November 11, 1918, ending the fighting. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, formally ended the war, imposing harsh penalties and territorial losses on Germany. The treaty's terms sowed the seeds of future conflict as they created deep resentment in Germany. World War I caused unprecedented destruction. Approximately 10 million soldiers and 7 million civilians died as a direct result of the war, and many more were wounded. The economic cost was enormous, leaving Europe deeply in debt and leading to a decade of economic turmoil. The war led to the collapse of empires. The Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, and German empires all disintegrated. New nations were created in Europe and the Middle East, often with arbitrary borders that sowed future conflicts. The war profoundly affected societies and cultures. The horrors of trench warfare and the disillusionment with traditional values and leadership were reflected in the literature, art, and philosophy of the post-war period. The lost generation of writers, including Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald, captured the sense of disillusionment and questioning that characterized the post-war world. While the war was intended to be the war to end all wars, the Treaty of Versailles and the unresolved issues of nationalism, imperialism, and economic instability set the stage for World War II. The interwar period was marked by political upheaval, economic depression, and the rise of totalitarian regimes. World War I was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the world in profound ways. It marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new uncertain age. The immense human and economic costs, the political upheavals, and the social transformations it triggered left an indelible mark on the 20th century. The lessons of World War I continue to resonate, reminding us of the devastating consequences of conflict and the enduring quest for peace and stability in international relations.